Florence, 1502. Italy bleeds from 1,000 political wounds. Betrayal lurks in every shadow. Trust is a luxury no one can afford. Into this chaos steps a young diplomat named Niccolo Machiavelli. He possesses neither armies nor gold, but he discovers something far more dangerous. While others torture and bribe for secrets, Machiavelli simply listens. He learns that silence creates a vacuum, and nature abhors a vacuum. When people encounter silence, they instinctively rush to fill it, and in their desperate rush, they reveal everything. The test comes when whispers reach Machiavelli of a plot against Florence. Conspirators plan to open the city gates to enemy forces. Instead of accusations or threats, Machiavelli invites the suspected traitor for wine. He asks simple questions, then falls silent. The conspirator, unnerved by the silence, begins filling the void with words. Within an hour, he confesses everything. The conspiracy crumbles. Florence is saved not by swords, but by strategic silence. If you're finding value in this, hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Building on what we covered, let's dive deeper into the psychological machinery that makes this weapon so devastatingly effective. Every conversation contains an invisible trap, a biological wire waiting to be triggered by those who understand human nature. Here's the truth most people never realize. Your brain is hardwired to fear silence, like a predator stalking in the night. This isn't psychology theory. This is evolutionary survival programming, carved into your neural pathways over millions of years. When silence falls, your amygdala fires like a warning bell. Danger, threat, social rejection approaching. Your stress hormones surge. Cortisol floods your system. Your heart rate spikes as ancient survival instincts scream one word: fill the void, now, before the pack abandons you, before you're cast out into the wilderness alone. This neurological response happens in milliseconds, before your rational mind can intervene and save you from yourself. The discomfort becomes unbearable, like sitting in a room where the walls are slowly closing in around you. Your mouth opens. Words spill out. Not just any words. The most private, vulnerable parts of your inner world. Because in that moment of panic, your brain believes honesty equals connection. Secrets equal salvation. The person who triggered this response? They sit calmly, watching, collecting every confession you offer. They understand what you're just learning. Silence isn't empty space. It's a psychological pressure chamber. But knowing this trap exists is only the beginning. Building on what we covered, Machiavelli perfected silence into 3 deadly stages, each stage designed to strip away your target's defenses systematically. Stage 1. The bait. This is where most people fail catastrophically. You cannot simply ask what you want to know. The perfect bait question feels innocent, but creates an irresistible urge to elaborate. Machiavelli would ask about their enemy's weaknesses, not their own secrets. Stage 2. The wait. This is where your discipline determines everything. While they speak, you become a master reader of human nature. Watch their hands. Listen for voice changes. Notice where their eyes go. Every micro-expression reveals what they're desperately trying to hide. Stage 3. The harvest. This is where silence becomes a weapon of mass extraction. They've started talking, and now the uncomfortable pause makes them panic. In their desperation to fill the void, they reveal everything. Machiavelli called this the harvest of fools, and it never fails. These 3 stages have toppled kingdoms. Let me show you the proof. History is littered with empires that fell not to armies, but to words spoken in moments of unbearable silence. The most powerful men in Renaissance Italy discovered that silence could extract secrets more effectively than torture chambers. Cesare Borgia, the most feared man in Italy, met his downfall through a confession he never intended to make. During a tense meeting with papal delegates, an uncomfortable silence stretched for what felt like eternity. Unable to bear the psychological pressure, Borgia revealed his secret alliance with French forces against the Pope. Those careless words, spoken to, filled the silence, cost him his empire, and ultimately, his life. Machiavelli himself wielded this weapon against French diplomats who believed they were interrogating him. While they peppered him with questions about Florentine defences, Machiavelli responded with calculated silence. The uncomfortable quiet became unbearable for the French envoys, who began filling the void with their own intelligence. Within one conversation, Machiavelli learned French troop positions, supply routes, and invasion timelines. But perhaps the most devastating confession involved Lorenzo de' Medici's own cousin. During a routine family gathering, Lorenzo employed 30 seconds of strategic silence. His cousin, unable to endure the quiet, blurted out details of an assassination plot against Lorenzo himself. That single moment of silence saved Lorenzo's life and exposed a conspiracy that reached the highest levels of Florentine society. These weren't accidents. They were the inevitable result of understanding how silence weaponizes human psychology. Building on what we covered, Machiavelli's silence weapon isn't trapped in dusty history books. It's operating right now in boardrooms, negotiations, and conversations across the globe. Let's start with salary negotiations, where silence becomes your most profitable weapon. You state your desired salary, then you do absolutely nothing. The employer feels the weight of that silence crushing down on them. They start filling that void with better offers, justifications, additional benefits. Your silence literally extracts money from their mouth. Now let's examine dating scenarios, where silence reveals true intentions. When someone makes an ambiguous comment about commitment or feelings, you simply wait. That uncomfortable silence forces them to clarify exactly what they mean. No games, no confusion. Pure truth extracted through strategic emptiness. Finally, business meetings become intelligence-gathering operations. You ask about competitors' strategies, then let the silence do the interrogation. People unconsciously fill that void with insider information, trade secrets, confidential details. Machiavelli's 500-year-old silence strategy just gave you modern power. Your silent revolution begins the moment you stop fearing uncomfortable quiet. Here's your 24-hour challenge that will change everything. Pick 3 conversations where you normally rush to fill silence. Instead, let the silence stretch. Count to 10. Watch them crack. But beware, others are learning these techniques too. When someone uses strategic silence against you, their body language shifts. They lean back slightly. Their breathing slows. They're hunting. Recognize this immediately. Turn their weapon back on them. 99% of people cannot tolerate 10 seconds of silence. They fidget. They stumble over words. They reveal everything. You will be the 1% who thrives in uncomfortable quiet. While others panic, you gather intelligence. While they speak, you conquer. Your silence is no longer empty space. It's a loaded weapon. The student has become the master. Machiavelli would be proud. If this opened your eyes, smash that like button and subscribe for more.